Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? I'm Duncan Sandlin. This is Gossip Finance. So I just want to do a quick little thing here real quick. We'll go over the State of the Union a little bit more later this week when Lacey's on. But for right now, just between us, I have to tell you, I was just in love with the Republican response. It was psychotic. It went all over the place. Katie Britt, who's from Alabama, was totally manic. And I get that Republicans right now are losing to the women vote. And they desperately needed to appear good to women because the whole abortion thing with the Supreme Court and then the IVF thing in Alabama. So what do? They found the female senator from Alabama and brought her in. She's young and she's fresh and all that stuff. So she's a good contrast to Biden, right? Who's an old man. Well, Biden came off looking, polished and experienced, and she came off looking psychotic. She yo-yoed between it's the end of the world and smiling at you like she's about to kill one of your children. It's really crazy. And we'll watch a bit of it here. But she got tagged in a huge lie. She had a bunch of them, but she got tagged in a really big one that I wanted to kind of hit home because it kind of spins the whole point of what the Republicans really think about women. When we get down to it. So we're going to go into this. I just want to show this one clip from Katie Britt, and then we'll go into what the bullshit was. All right.
And he announced a plan to give amnesty to millions. We know that President Biden didn't just create this border crisis. He invited it with 94 executive actions in his first 100 days. When I took office...
Oh, man. That's a hard turn. He invited it. It was a horrible thing. When I took office... My God. Okay. I don't know who the speechwriter was or what they told her. They told her probably you got to be hard when you hammer in on Biden and the Democrats. But you got to be nice and fluffy when you talk to the Republican audience. I mean, that's... And why is she in a kitchen? Everybody's brought this up, but this really placates to, well, that's because that's where women belong, apparently. Anyway, he didn't really, there's a lot of context to what he reversed and stuff, but Biden pretty much kept a lot of Trump's border policies. The big one that he reversed was the putting kids in cages thing, which I'm all for, but if anybody has anything to bitch about Biden and the border, it's the liberals, because he didn't do fucking hardly anything. And he is still trying to build the wall shit. And he's done some of that recently. So this whole thing is psychotic. But I just wanted to show that jump she made from to... Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Honestly. So we'll watch another minute because we're going to get into the big shit right now.
I took a different approach. I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me. She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12. She told me not just that she was raped every day, but how many times a day she was raped. The cartels put her on a mattress in a shoebox of a room, and they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end.
So her big spin on that is this is because of Biden's border policies. That all this happened, this woman got raped repeatedly over and over, and if it wasn't for Biden's border policies, this wouldn't have happened, or something like that, something along those lines. Was kind of her implication here. Now, couple funny points about that. Did that happen? Yeah, but not in the way you think, and not under Biden, which is kind of what's funny. And so we're going to this real quick. So Jonathan Katz is a reporter. He actually broke this.
Looked a little bit to see if I could figure out what Senator Britt was talking about here, and I found it pretty easily. Senator Britt has told the story over and over and over again since going on this trip, So all I had to do was look for details of the trip, see if there was any information about who she talked to, and if there was any more information about this case there. And I think I found it pretty easily. So in January 2023, Senator Britt, who had just become the junior senator from Alabama, traveled to southern Texas to the Del Rio district near the border of Mexico with two other Republican senators, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee and Cindy Hyde-Smith of Mississippi. And Senator Blackburn had all of the information about it on her website, her senatorial website. During this trip, among other scheduled visits, the senators had what they described as a round table, although you can see it's not a round table, it's a long table on which they are sitting on one side of it. It's a press conference. They were there with a Fox News contributor, Sarah Carter, who often does sort of the xenophobic anti-immigration coverage, as well as a Mexican congresswoman who's become an anti-human trafficking activist, as well as this woman, who the senators identify as Carla Jacinto Romero. All I had to do was click on Carla Jacinto Romero's name, that hyperlink, on Senator Blackburn's page, and it took me to this. This is Carla Jacinto Romero's testimony to Congress from 2015 about her experiences in Mexico. If you scroll down, you see it took place between 2004 and 2008. Now, I don't know what they put in the textbooks in Alabama these days, but Joe Biden wasn't the president of the United States in 2004 or 2008. He wasn't even the vice president of the United States.
So there it was. Didn't even happen under Biden. Didn't even happen in the U.S. It happened in Mexico. And the reason she's here now is because she was able to get amnesty under Barack Obama when Biden was vice president. Now, the thing that I think is funny is when we're talking about the female vote that they're so desperate to get, and then they bring up this woman who, her border policy, this woman would never have gotten amnesty. She would have deported her back to Mexico, where this would have happened until she died. On top of that fact, Ms. Romero, in her testimony, talks about having to give birth while she was basically in custody. And she was under 16. She was 12 to 16 when this whole thing happened. And we know that Katie Britt is staunch anti-abortion. So Katie Britt would have forced her to carry that pregnancy instead of getting an abortion if she was the rape victim, right? Katie Britt also, if a woman was going to be pregnant and she was going to die and the child was going to die, Katie Britt would still make her carry that child to term and die. This is the woman that they've got to reach out to women. I love it. You find the one woman who hates women, right? Well, I guess you could say a lot of women hate women, but I mean, hates women's rights. I mean, it's just amazing. This is who they got. And then she got out there with this bullshit story like Biden was the cause of this when Biden wasn't even in office. Well, I mean, he was in the Senate, but he wasn't making border policy back then. So yeah, I just think the whole thing is just hilarious. This is the conservative movement. This is the MAGA movement trying to reach out to women. It failed. Honestly, though, I think she was really playing to an audience of one, which was she was playing to Trump, and he really loved it. So, you know, maybe she'll be on his vice presidential list. You never know. Wouldn't that be fun, ladies? To have her as the vice president of the United States of America. Watch all your rights go out the window. Anyway, I just wanted to hit that real quick, so we'll hit it and quit it and we'll move on. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and catch us next time.